Hey, it's Teresa, and today I'm going to show you how I put my greens in the fridge, how I prepare them to put them in the fridge. I've got a sink full of water here started, cold water. I'm going to add some vinegar, just white distilled vinegar, maybe a quarter cup, I guess, or less. Swirl it around a little bit. You might want to make sure that you don't have any junk in your sink. And then I've got here kale. It's a flat leaf variety. I just picked what looked the best out of all the kale. And I'm going to keep it separate this time. Usually I mix it all together, but I'm going to use this kale for a recipe, so I need it to be by itself. So I'm just going to let it sit in there for a little bit. And while I'm doing that, actually I can go ahead and put this is chard. It's easy to tell apart. This is a yellow Swiss chard. And I'm gonna also put that in there and get it washing. So you just get it very well saturated. Leave it in there for a while, and you want to do this right after you pick it, so just so that it doesn't have time to wilt much, okay? But you want it to be really fresh when you put it in the sink in the cold water. And also I don't like leaving mine in the cold water very long because it has a tendency to get waterlogged. I know it sounds weird, but it gets waterlogged, and then it doesn't, maybe it just pulls in all that moisture, and then it doesn't give you as crisp of a leaf. So put it in there for, I mean, you can soak it for 20 minutes, but by a long time I mean like don't go pick up your kids from school and stay in town for 2 hours or whatever. So just maybe half an hour tops. That's what I would say. And then I've got this other butter crunch lettuce right here, and it comes on like a stem, a long stem. Well, mine was starting to bolt, so the stem gets longer as the season goes along, but I just take the leaves and I pull them off one by one. And these ones are even a little more susceptible to wilt than the hardier leaves like kale. So I'm going to have to get those into the water pretty soon too. But right now I'm just going to take them and pull them all off the stem. I suppose you could wash the whole stem and everything all together, and then you could fold it all up like this, you know, kind of like a Christmas tree in a box, and put it into baggies and then put it in the fridge. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Not with this. I'm not going to do it that way this time, but I suppose you probably could, because I see them in the store that way. Romaine lettuces that way. So I don't think the stem is going to be that big of a deal if you put it in there, because I'm not talking freezing or anything like that. I'm just talking about refrigerating it. So, and this, the last batch that I did of these lasted in the fridge several weeks. Let's see. It's going on the third week now. I'll show it to you. It's crispy the way that I do it. I don't know if there's a better way, because nobody's ever told me, but the way that I have found is I take it after it comes out of here and I dry it off real good. I don't completely dry it, but if you have a salad spinner you can use that, but I shake it off real good, and then I lay it out on a paper towel for just a little bit. It might have just a little bit of moisture left on it. That's okay, not a worry. Then I take a paper towel, fold it up, and I put it into the bag with the leaves, just to, I don't know if that keeps the humidity or draws the humidity. I really don't know the science behind it, but it works. And my leaves stay crispy for a long time. And if you know anything about me, which you might not, but if you do, I use a lot of greens for smoothies. I try to drink one every day. Doesn't always happen, but I try. And So I use a lot of greens. Greens are really, really good for us. Our diet needs to consist of a high amount of greens. It protects our skin, it protects our cells, it gives us nutrients, and so these are pretty well picked, clean. They kind of look like asparagus stems. I wonder if they're in the same family. I don't think so. Anyway, so we got all this that came off of that, 2 bunches. That's a lot of lettuce. That would make several salads in our family. Let me grab the bag that I've already done. This one here I think is only about a week and a half old. This is red lettuce, and if you know red lettuces, they're pretty dainty, but as you can see, these are pretty crisp still. They look great. And there's the paper towel that's in it. That's all I do. I stick a paper towel in there. I suck out as much of the air as I can just by pushing it and then closing it. Then I put it in the crisper in the refrigerator, and it stays good a very long time. Here's one that's a lot older than that. And it's got a variety of different lettuces in it. I've almost used it up, but I'm gonna just add back to this bag because I don't wanna waste it. So I have some red leaf lettuce in here. Here, crispy, still crispy. I have some of that butter crunch lettuce, and I see a little bit of rusting where it broke coming up, but really it's in really good shape. So that's what I do. And I'll probably shut up now and finish. I was going to also say a lot of these kind of curly plants, as they curl up on the edges, you'll see they curl like this on the edges. When you're washing those, you definitely want to open that up because that's where the earwigs and other spiders lay their eggs, and you want to just clean that out really good. So I just run the water over it, uncurl everything, give it a good look over. If I see any eggs or anything, I either get rid of that piece or I try to tear that part off or whatever. It could be something that's just easily brushed off, but like this right here has been heavily eaten on. You can keep that. I don't care to. So a lot of times if I'm going to be using it for smoothies, I'll take this vein, the stem, and pull it across like this. Just pull it away from the vein, and then I will store it like that because it's just easier. I don't want the vein and the stem. I mean, I don't mind the veins, but I don't want the stem in there for smoothies. So a lot of times I'll just take it apart like that and wash it really good, and then throw it in the colander, let it drain for a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do with these, because I'll be using this Swiss chard here for smoothies. Another thought while I'm just sitting here working is you can work yourself to death trying to get off all the little, just being too crazy about how clean they are. That's totally up to you, of course, but if you don't get them clean enough, they taste like dirt. If you get them too clean, you can't really tell the difference between clean enough and really clean. So you're just wasting a lot of time. And God made dirt, and dirt don't hurt. So we don't want them to taste like dirt, but a little bit of dirt on them or whatever is not a bad idea. So just do good enough. Don't go crazy over cleaning them, because otherwise it's not going to be enjoyable. Harvesting your leafy stuff. You'll dread it, and you'll say, I'm never doing that again. And that's not what this is about. You're going to do whatever it takes to be able to eat them and use them, because that's what you need to do. And if you grow them and then you don't use them because it's too much work, what good is that? So just do the amount of work that it takes to, the minimal, I should say, it takes to make them taste good and be healthy and not have any bugs on them, like that one. As you can see, this, I'm almost done with all that Swiss chard, and it hasn't taken me hardly any time. Here's a white one. I had white, red, and yellow, and the yellow excelled. The white and the red didn't hardly do anything. I somehow got a beet green in here. So I'm just going to leave that whole. I like them too. Now beet greens can taste a little bit like dirt. But it's an acquired taste. I love them personally, but I love greens, and I think you have to get a, like I said, it's acquired taste. I've been eating that stuff since I was a little girl, and we're from the South. I'm in Colorado now, but we're from the South, and the South eats a lot of greens, or at least they say they do. We did. We ate a lot of leafy greens. They were cooked with all sorts of butter and sometimes vinegar on them, like spinaches and chard, kale. But now I find that most of my leafy green eating is raw. I don't cook it really. I like it cooked, but none of my family does, so I pretty much eat it. I'm the sole eater of it, except spinach. Everybody likes the spinach. Okay, and now for the kale. That's all. The kale's the only thing left in here. I just drained it all. I'm just gonna kind of wash it off real good. This is easy to wash kale because it's flat leaf, but there are some curly kale options that have to maybe soak a little longer than this, because they're going to have dirt way down in the curls, and it just doesn't taste good if you don't get it off. So get all the junk off of it and wash it really good, and then I'll show you how I bag them. I'm going to try and get in another garden tour and get that up on YouTube tonight or this afternoon, whatever, when it's not so hot outside. I'm guessing it's about 95 right now. But I'm going to get it out there and get it recorded so that you guys can see. My garden is just exploding right now. This is probably peak, I would say, or within now and the next week or so, it's going to be considered peak. Sorry, you can't see me. I don't really like being on camera. But anyways, it is what it is, right? Ain't as young as I used to be. Okay, so I got these all washed. So I just take them like this, shake them real good. Can't do that with some of the more delicate stuff. And then I will lay it out on a paper towel just for a little bit, just until the majority of the water dries up. Yeah, that's all the kale. This is from 2 plants. My kale didn't do very good this year. Okay, just gonna lay it out like this. Kind of keep it from bunching up so the air can get to it. There you go. Let it dry. Then you're going to bag it. Put a dry paper towel in with it. Just one tear off. Put it in there with it. Squeeze out all the air. And then close it up. And then put it in your crisper so that it stays crispy for a long time. If you have any other questions, just put your comments down below. You can subscribe if you want to see my garden tours. They're awesome. And, well, my part isn't awesome, but the garden is amazing. And if you want to see more about the smoothies I make, or if you want to just know what recipes that I'm using some of these things for, just put a comment down below and I'll shoot you some recipes, or the recipes to my smoothies. There's also a great book. It's called Green for Life, and it's Botanico. I can't even pronounce the name. But they're an amazing family who talk about their transformations in their health through drinking green smoothies. And so I would highly recommend that book. I will try to remember to link that down in the description box below. So like this video if you want to see more of these, and you want to see how I'm harvesting all of the vegetables in my garden and what I'm doing with them and how I'm saving them without wasting them. That's what I'm trying for, and that's what I'm really hoping to achieve this year. Also, if you have any ideas of what I could be doing better that saves time, or to give the viewers some options of what they could do if they have little kids, or if they, you know, are overly busy. I'm not really overly busy right now. So, yeah, just leave your comments, like this video, and subscribe if you want to see more. God bless you guys. Bye.